Hello everyone, it's Helen at Journaling Planet, and today I'm going to show you what I do, or what I did in this case, when a piece of abstract art doesn't turn out how I wanted. Now, it seemed that I was having a particularly bad day the day that I did this piece of art, because not only did the art not come out how I wanted in the first place, but I thought I was recording the process of fixing it, and for some reason the video had stopped running. So I thought I'd recorded myself cutting out pieces of gold foil and also some dictionary page, only to find out about 10 minutes later that only the first minute had recorded. So to recap, I did spend some time cutting out some gold foil that I got off a piece of chocolate and some dictionary page that I've been hoarding for a long time. And I cut some shapes out of those things and glued them into the square. So that was my first step. And I did this because I could see obvious things that I just sort of wanted to cover up. Marks that I'd made in the original artwork that I just wasn't very happy with. And ultimately what I could see was that the background where I had made that piece of art was going to be sort of added texture. And it wasn't a waste because it would add kind of depth to the finished piece that I would make. But ultimately, a lot of it would get kind of obscured or covered over because I just simply wasn't very happy with what I created. And that's fine. It is absolutely fine to push something into the background when it hasn't worked out and to rethink and reconsider what the focus might be, how I might draw attention away from what went wrong. And I thought a very good way of doing that would be to very much lean into the colour wheel and focus on adding yellows and blues, which I know complement each other very well indeed. So I did start finger painting with some yellow paint and then with a sort of burnt umber colour going in again and kind of layering over that, just to add a little bit of contrast, because I think one of the problems with the original piece is there wasn't much difference in value between the colours. So they were all a similar shade of light. There wasn't much dark in there. And so with this, I really wanted to mix up how light and dark the shades were, because I really do think that was a big problem with the original piece. That's just my assessment, of course. Maybe there were lots and lots and lots of things wrong with the original piece, but I did notice that when I fixed that element of it, it did look a heck of a lot better. I found adding these layers very relaxing. And to me, this shows me how far I've come in my artwork. A little while ago, I would have absolutely freaked out at the fact that something hadn't turned out how I wanted it to in art. And it may have been a couple of days before I actually even thought about going back to doing any more art, because I would feel a bit deflated. And instead, this time, I simply decided to take the piece home from art club and work on it on my own in my study and see what I could make from it. Now, what I was talking about value is coming into play again here, as I'm getting a very dark black pen. I did want to use crayon, but it did not want to go over the previous layers. So I went to black pen and creating some dark marks to really add a lot of contrast. And I think the big things that really improved this piece were returning to the idea of value, how light and dark each colour was that I put in there, making sure there was plenty of contrast, and using the colour wheel and relying on that more heavily. A few videos ago, I did some mark making with a cancelled credit card. And it was just a little exercise that I did, that I recorded to show people what you can do with things that are lying around the house. But I learned quite a lot from doing that activity. And it was the first thing that came to mind after I'd done some collage and some finger painting. I thought, I'm going to get that cancelled credit card. I'm going to get a complementary colour to this yellow and gold, which would be blue. And I am going to start putting some of this ink over the original piece using some of the marks I did in that practice piece in the video a few videos back. And so I was using my favourite marks from that activity. I already knew how those marks would look on the page. So there's real value in doing that activity. And that's something that I explain in that video, how valuable I did find just playing and seeing what marks I enjoyed creating with the credit card and the ink. And to me, already, when that blue is down, you can see the difference that having those contrasting colours, those very strong complementary colours, is having in this piece. As soon as I added the blue, things started to feel a lot closer to done. I'm not sure yet whether or not when I work with each individual part of the grid, which is my ultimate goal when I make these grid pieces. I could frame some of them, and I probably will, but ultimately I am a journaler and I work in smaller form books. So I will want to cut these up and make ephemera from them. And when I do that, I'm not sure yet if I will add anything else. I think that will be a decision to make when I come to my journal page. I look at what's already down there, the colours that are already down there, the shapes that are already down there. And obviously I'm going to add in this piece, this abstract piece that I've created. And on reflection, I may choose to add some more marks with perhaps a black pen, or perhaps add a little piece of textile, maybe some lace or something. But for now, I'm happy to leave these as they stand. And in a moment, I'm going to peel up the tape. I can tell you the first time that I did that on this abstract piece, it was so underwhelming. I'd spent probably about 45 minutes at my local art club just playing with my pens in this grid, being very intuitive, which is what I normally do. And when I peeled back the tape, it was very underwhelming. It just did not look like a piece that reflected me and what I'd been trying to explore. So when I peeled back the tape this time and it revealed these rather beautiful abstract pieces, I was so relieved, and I knew that it was worthwhile setting the video off, because I think on these YouTube channels, people tend to show, and I understand why, they tend to show the artwork that has gone very well. You know, they tend to show people their best work because it's supposed to be inspiring. But I think sometimes we can get into a space where we think everyone on every video is just brilliant art and never makes any mistakes and is never underwhelmed when they peel the tape up on their grid journal. I can tell you, I was not very happy when I peeled the tape off this one. And I think sticking with the process and deciding, well, okay, that didn't work. For whatever reason, I just don't like the way those pens have made those marks on this paper, but I'm going to use it as background texture. And you can still see a significant chunk of the background texture through the additional painting and inking that I've done. So it was totally worth it. It was totally worth having all those marks down first. It's not like they've all been obscured. In some of the pieces, they're particularly visible. And to me, they add to what the piece is. They make it more complex. It makes it more than just simply having, you know, gold and yellow and blue, which are very obvious colour combinations. They work very well. So to me, it was still worth doing that original piece, even though at the time when I peeled the tape, I thought, my gosh, why did I bother with that? Look at the state of this. And now what am I going to do? And I thought, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a video for people and show them that sometimes things don't work out right, that if that happens to you, you're not alone. And it's not something that you need to worry about, because a little bit of collage paper, some contrasting colours from the colour wheel, bit of finger painting, bit of ink on a credit card, and all of a sudden, these pieces that I was really, shall we say, underwhelmed by, have texture, have complex shapes and interactions between the media, and to me, look so much better than they did before. And it's not just because of what I added. but it's because of what was already there in the first place, from the part that didn't work out. I hope this video has been helpful. If you found it entertaining or useful, I'd really appreciate you hitting the subscribe button, the like button, and perhaps leaving a comment below. I will definitely have another video for you soon. In the meantime, take care and happy crafting.